Yesterday, we focused on the unrealistic. We focused on huge potential blockbuster trades. Today, we will tone it down a little bit and we will focus on realistic scenarios that the Kansas City Chiefs could focus on this offseason and who they may acquire in this free agency period. But before we do dive into all of that, please be sure to subscribe to the channel and like this video, as I'm going to keep you up to date on anything Kansas City Chief related that you do not want to miss out on. And without further ado, let's have some fun. As I mentioned to kick off this video, we're going to switch the pace up a little bit. We're going to make it to where these could be real acquisitions by the Kansas City Chiefs this coming free agency period. And also, I kind of want everyone to know, I know what kind of situation the Kansas City Chiefs are in. I know they are cap strapped. But also, I know if they want to make a move, they could free up a lot of potential cap space. It just depends the player they are looking out for. Also, too, I have followed this team my whole life and throughout the Andy Reid tenure, the Brett Veach tenure. So I know they will probably not be heavy playmakers in this free agency period. Usually they make 1-2 key moves and then they focus on the draft. There will probably be no difference in this free agency period as well. But I'm the GM. I will be focusing on what I would like the Kansas City Chiefs to do. So I might be making big time baller moves. I will be Brett Veach today. We will be discussing 5 potential realistic moves that the Kansas City Chiefs can make. So let's get into that. Now the first player I'm going to mention, I'm going to contradict what I just started with. I don't know if I really want this dude or not, but I do know, as I mentioned in prior videos, right tackle is a huge area in need, and it has been ever since Mitchell Schwartz got injured and then eventually retired. And I'm talking about Mike McGlinchey here. This is so interesting to me because I do believe he's above average, but I do believe he is inconsistent as well. I believe that he would be a better right tackle than what we've had throughout the years. And again, I know a lot of people loved Andrew Wiley throughout the playoffs and his Super Bowl run, but I focus on the season in whole, and Andrew Wiley was way too wildly inconsistent for me to want to bring him back. And as I mentioned before, he's going to get paid, so let him get paid. But with Mike McGlinchey, it's like, I got my toes in the water. It's like I'm on a date with him. It's like I'm flirting back and forth, trying to figure out if this would be a good situation. I love the position of need. I just don't know if I love the player. And I feel like I wouldn't be surprised if Kansas City goes swinging for the fences for a guy like Mike McGlinchey or Jawan Taylor. I know right tackle has been a huge area need. And it may be something they focus on in the draft as well. They still got Lucas Niang on the team, and we don't know what to make of that either, because it seems like every year he has been injured, and we know he has huge upside and huge potential. It's just, can he stay healthy? And also, would the Kansas City Chiefs want to go that route again in the draft and draft another right tackle, or do they feel they need to bring a veteran, experienced guy on that line? It's definitely going to be interesting to see how the Kansas City Chiefs attack it. And in this video, they can go after a guy like Mike McGlinchey. They might have to break the bank for him. I'm not going to say anything crazy. He's not going to be the top paid right tackle, but you will have to pay a pretty penny because he is the top right tackle available. And that could cost some money. And if the Kansas City Chiefs want him, as I mentioned to start this video, they would have to free up some cap space, but it could get done. Again, I don't know how I feel about it, but I wouldn't be surprised if they went the route of a Mike McGlinchey just to shore up a need that has been a hole for the better half of, 3-4 years. Is something they do need to address this offseason. Now let's stop focusing on guys I'm iffy with, and let's focus on a guy who I would extremely love on this team. And again, you've heard me mention it in times past. He is an older, veteran type of guy, defensive tackle who would be a magnificent pairing with Chris Jones, and it is no other than Fletcher Cox. I don't know why I am convincing myself, pushing forward, that this would be the one move that I would really want to happen this offseason. Yes, I know Chris Jones is dominant, but he's never really had that other dominant side on the other side. I do love Colin Saunders, and if we can bring him back at a reasonable price, I'd be great with that. But it's been Colin Saunders and Derek Nottie, Wharton rotating out, and it just seems, I'm not saying it hasn't worked, because there have been glimpses and shines of great success, specifically with Saunders. But man, if you plug in a guy like Fletcher Cox, you take away Chris Jones' double teams. Chris Jones was already dominant last year with being double teamed basically the whole season. Imagine if you take some of that away. You thought he was dominant before? What will be coming if you add another superior defensive tackle and then you restructure a guy like Frank Clark? You bring in a George Karlaftis. You could bring in another pass rusher. You could bring in Carlos Dunlap. You can address those needs in the draft as well. I feel like a guy like Fletcher Cox would just make this defensive line so dominant, and it makes those young cornerbacks, young safeties even better, because what makes the secondary better is a dominant defensive line, and it's something the Kansas City Chiefs can address, and they could be so successful this offseason with it. I got my eyes peeled on Fletcher Cox this offseason. Now this one I'm going to leave to you guys, because this is a question in my head. Now, we've heard all the trade rumors, and in fact, it's been mostly regarding wide receivers. The big one around the circle is DeAndre Hopkins. But let's say the Kansas City Chiefs do not decide to trade any of their draft stock into a wide receiver. There are still some really good guys on this wide receiver market. And there was also a report today that the Kansas City Chiefs will try to re-sign Juju. With that, I take that with a grain of salt, because yeah, they will try, but what is Juju's market going to be like? If he's commanding like $20 million, I can see the Kansas City Chiefs be like, whoa, you are more than what we want. So the question of the day is, I have two wide receivers that I'm going to bring up right now who I think would be very affordable, and maybe Kansas City can go get both. And in a dream world, I would love it. But this conversation will be Adam Thielen, who looks like he is not going to be back with the Minnesota Vikings, and Darius Slayton. What one would you prefer to have on this team? I think it could be a very interesting topic of conversation. Adam Thielen, he is on the back end of his career. He is a guy who would be chasing a Super Bowl. But even last year, on a down season, he still had over 700 yards and 6 touchdowns. He is that possession receiver. He is that guy that will go up and get the ball. And I think he would be a really magnificent add on this team. And I just love a guy like him, because a guy who is chasing a Super Bowl who has never seen it, this team feels like they feed off that. Like they want to get that guy that ring. And that makes them go harder and harder. And it brings that motivation. The motivation people think will go missing, to be like, what do the Kansas City Chiefs got to play for? A dynasty, another ring? Come on, they stacking up. When you add players like this, that's their first time. And the Chiefs definitely thrive under those type of circumstances. And then you focus on a guy like Darius Slayton. It seems like the New York Giants were kind of easing him out last year. And he was even a part of trade rumors last year as well. But this is a dude that averages 15 yards a catch. He is explosive. He is a good possession receiver. And he came out of the scene just a couple years ago as well. I think he would be a really magnificent add at a cheap price, cheaper than Juju, to where you might still get the same production as well. So that's my question. Adam Thielen, Darius Slayton. If it comes at a reasonable price, maybe both. It's funny, I'm thinking, I said in a dream world, I would love both, but I think at the age and the production he can give you, I love Darius Slayton. He is someone that I think could fit this offense tremendously as well. I'm not saying he could be a number one, but man, he could put up good production to maybe be an 800 to 1,000 yard receiver in this league too. Again, it didn't show much last year, but it was because it seemed like the Giants were easing him out. So, hey, if someone focuses on him, let's see how it goes. But I'm not sliding Adam Thielen either. He is that veteran guy that I think a lot of teams will love. And I think he's going to try to find a team to where, hey, I want to get a ring to end my career. Could that be the Kansas City Chiefs? Chiefs Kingdom? Let's discuss that one. I think that'll be a fun topic of conversation. Adam Thielen or Darius Slayton, if the Chiefs do not decide to trade anything for DeAndre Hopkins or any of these big name wide receivers. Now my last guy we're going to talk about, we're going to still focus on the offensive side of the ball. We're going to focus on the running back group. There was rumors today that just came out that there are actually teams interested in trading for CEH. Caught me by surprise, because I thought the Kansas City Chiefs might try to force a trade to where they could get a 6th, 7th round pick. With teams being interested, maybe the Chiefs can get like a 4th or 5th. I'm hopeful there. Like, I don't think it'll be anything too high or extraordinary, but man, if they could get some good value in a 4th or 5th, that's good to me. You just added another draft pick. That's very, very good. But the thing I'm focusing on here is we all know the Kansas City Chiefs, no matter who is in that backfield, it'll always be a running back by committee. Of course, Isaiah Pacheco's your number one. And of course, we are going to bring back Jerick McKinnon. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about that. He needs to be back on this team. But could the Kansas City Chiefs look at a guy like Miles Sanders? I don't think he would be too expensive. One, you're really not going to break the bank on a running back. And these running backs are going to find it so early into this coming free agency. Saquon, he's not going to get the money he wants. Josh Jacobs is not going to get the money he wants. It seems like it happens every free agent period. Miles Sanders, who is someone who is under the radar, still someone who is 26 years old, is an explosive back. And I think he is the definition of a rotational back. We saw it this year in Philly as well. And I don't think the Eagles are going to bring him back. So have him be a part of our three-headed monster. I think it would be something very, very exciting to have Miles Sanders a part of this backfield. And again, as I mentioned in prior videos too, if you're going to be a running back by committee type of team, every running back has to be good. And we know the Chiefs O-line, what they succeed in well is run blocking. So Isaiah Pacheco will love it. Jerick McKinnon loves it. And you bring a guy like Miles Sanders, whew, that would be a force to be reckoned with as well. And just the way the Chiefs maneuver in the run game, I think it would be so much fun to watch these three guys just go crazy. And they all three of them excel in the pass game tremendously. With that, Chiefs Kingdom, I am closing out this video. You let me know on these guys if you would love these additions or if you feel like we should go in a different direction. If we should, name some guys. Maybe I can bring them up in a future video. Man, we are like a couple weeks away from all these predictions, rumors becoming reality. This is so exciting, so fun. Offseason can't get any crazier. And then it's draft season. We already know how that goes. With the combine wrapping up, you best believe it. Now you're going to get some of my mock drafts. I'm starting to get some of my knowledge on these prospects. So the draft will be definitely fun to cover. But be sure to subscribe to the channel. Like this video, and I will keep you up to date on anything Kansas City Chief related that you do not want to miss out on. And you guys take care, have fun. I will check back in with y'all shortly.